elections in public offices. We all saw all of the dramas that happened in last year also across different states, from Edo State to Ondo State to Rivers State to Zamfara State, just so much. And we also saw the election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also saw, all of the elections, the governorship elections, the pre-election conversation, all of the assurances by INEC, the continuous voters registration, encouraging the people to pick up their PVCs, the numbers of PVCs that were collected, the percentage of people that came to exercise their franchise, and just so much went down last year. But against all odds, if you're listening to me today, that means you survived last year, and I can assure you that by the time we're back here on the 2nd of January 2025, would also survive 2024, although would hope and pray that I will survive 2024 in a bigger way, in a better way, in a more assuring, more prosperous, more successful, more fulfilling way. So I want to welcome you once again to the show. It's Happy New Year to you. In case you didn't join us on the show, excuse me, yesterday, I'm still dealing with my voice, but we're picking up one after the other. My name is Opeyemi Akinyode, and it gladdens my heart to know that we did so well together last year, and we can only get better from here. Well, the National Assembly have approved the budget at 28.7 as against the 27.5 million, trillion rather, that Mr. President presented. The Senate also set the benchmark for a naira to a dollar to be between 700 and 750, 800. There was an increment in the budget also. I'm sure you know that. So there's so much to talk about on the show today. Well, Barrister Atta Adams will join me on the show. He's a legal practitioner, he's the human resource manager, and also a public affairs analyst. We'll look at setting the agenda straight for the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the back of the budget that was approved by the Senate. And why we decided to focus on this is that the president seems to be very interested this time around. If you listen to his 1st of January nationwide address yesterday, he talked about a lot of things. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello. Okay, we're trying to link up with Barrister Adams Atta. Is my guest today on the show, and we'll just look at the budgets. We look at setting the conversation straight. We look at our priorities as we step into the year. We also look at the expectations of Nigeria on this administration. Have we done enough? Judy is assuring said that he's sure the pain would not end. Just to make the country go. Try to do that link up as quick as possible. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the Situation Room, and this program comes up on the airwaves every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. We get to talk about politics. We get to talk about policies of the government. We get to talk about those things that affect our daily existence as a people, especially as we constantly demand for proper dividends of democracy from the people that we voted into office, the people that we've given them the mandate to give us something good, to deliver dividends of democracy to us, to make us understand that, hey, even if you're making sacrifices, even if you're bending the rules, even if we're trying to understand why we should buy petrol for a certain amount of money, even though we're trying to understand, hey, the removal of subsidy, it gives, now there's more money for the governors, for the president to also work on certain projects. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Okay, a lot of difficulties there. I was trying to link up. I will continue to try. Well, Barrister Adams Atta is not in Lagos, so I would have to connect somewhere, and I guess the network is not really helping the situation, but we'll keep trying. The back end guys are really trying to fix this up. So yesterday on the show, we looked at the nationwide address by Mr. President, and then we asked those fundamental questions. Well, how did you receive the speech? I know that Nigerians are not particularly such people that look forward to great speeches. Yes, we just want results. We just want things to get better. We just want things to go the way we plan it. We just want improvement in our quality of life. We just want a proper, dividends of democracy that the people in power promised us. And those are the basic things that we're asking. But sometimes it goes beyond that. I would always tell people, governance is not rocket science. Even though we know it's not a tea party, it's not even as easy as it seems. Some of us, from the outside, it's a different ball game. But when we get into the mix, but again, you also need to know that Mr. President had come out and said that don't pity me, don't have sympathy towards me. I begged for you to vote for me. I danced for you to vote for me. So just give me the moral support, and then we'll fix this country. And I'm really hopeful, especially with the expectations going into the new year, that this country will be good. I'll take a very quick break, a very short one. Let's fix the end of this, and then we'll come back. The program continues. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is the Situation Room.
Hello, my name is 𝗪𝗪, and I'm a broadcast journalist and a sport administrator. I want you to listen to Situation Room with Opeyemi Akinyode on Mainland 98.3 FM from 4 to 5 p.m. weekdays. God bless Nigeria.
Hello?
Okay, apologies once again. Barrister Adams we're just having some difficulties with the technical side of it, but we fixed it now. So good to have you join us live in the studio of Mainland 98.3 FM for the Situation Room.
Thank you for having me on this lovely session.
Okay.
Of the studio.
Same to you. And it's the second day of January. Once again, before we get into the crux of the matter today, let me ask you, with all of the things that happened in 2023, the election, the post-election issue, being a lawyer yourself, the whole legal issue that came out of it, the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, the judgment, the appeal, all of that, the economic issues that we had also. How hopeful are you going into the new year, especially on the back of the speech of Mr. President yesterday, that a lot of people are, widely accepted is as coming with some form of assurance? What are you expecting this new year, Barrister Adams?
Well, if you look at what Mr. President said yesterday, myself, I can choose 5 contents from there. One is that Mr. President has said we should be positive and resolute about 2024. And then number 2 is that Mr. President also said that it's going to be a little bit rowdy, but we're going to get it right. Very positive. And then number 3, Mr. President is saying that the government is going to do whatever it takes reasonably to reduce the cost of inflation as it relates to our food and items. And then number 3, Mr. President is saying that we are going to work on the tax system. With that, we can have people now investing their money free interest rate to an extent. That's for new business earners. And then Mr. President is equally saying that we should be very, very put a high expectation on the fact that the Dᴏᴏ refinery and
the Port Harcourt refinery,
are coming on board. So with this, we are very optimistic And above all, Mr. President is saying that he's going to implement the living wage for workers. So in wholesome, it's a new year, let's be positive. Everybody should be positive. It's not always easy. And then if you look at the trend of our democracy in our dear nation now, we are 24 years of uninterrupted. And we thank God for that. And more so that Mr. President, they have just spent 7 years in power in government.
Oh, so 7 months, you mean?
7 months, 7 months per se, not 7 years. In 7 months in government, we should be in expectation. And one thing I love about the government is the fact that Mr. President is there to come out speedily and then address the nation as against the immediate president that is busy sleeping when situation arises until things get polluted. I love and cherish this Mr. President for that, for him to always be there to respond and come out and talk. Communication is very key. He has a way of to water down a very ugly situation in our dear country. So whatever that happened in 2023, if you look at the legal tussle, it is bound to happen. Once the election is done, people will always go to court. If you look at the antecedents of our democracy as far back as 1999 to date, you see that Buhari went to court almost about 2 to 3 times, and then Atiku went to court against others, Jonathan and Yar'Adua and others. And the same thing happened recently with and others. So it's bound to happen. It's bound to happen. People will always be angry with the position of the INEC. They put it to court. Yes, I'm with you.
Thank you very much, Barrister Adams Atta. By the way, Barrister Adams Atta is a legal practitioner, human resource manager, and of course, he's a public affairs analyst. And he's going to be with us, many more times as we roll into the year. So much talk about on this show, and then would always move around to get the very best of minds that can help us unbundle some government policies or some things that looks a little complicated and bring the conversation to the table. And in doing that, would always provide solutions, workable solutions at some of these challenges. So Barrister Adams, I say welcome on board. So let's go straight up into the conversation. You've expressed your optimism going into the year, especially on the back of the speech of Mr. President, the nationwide address yesterday morning, where he talked about there will be 500,000 hectares of land cultivated to grow maize and rice and wheat and all of that. He also talked about the Dangote refinery and the Port Harcourt refinery that would go into full operation. I also talked about security. So let's start from the whole security issue. How important is it for us to fix these security challenges as we go into the new year? The massacre on the Plateau, that's in Plateau State, is still going on. It started off with about 190 people killed on the morning of Christmas, and even days after, no address has been made. There's been power delegation that had visited the state, from the Vice President to the Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Army Staff, the Minister of State for Defense, all of these. Let's talk about the security. Now, on the show today, we're going to look at how the government needs to prioritize their intentions to serve Nigerians well. So let's look at the issue of security. Barrister Adams Atta, how vital is fixing the security challenges of this country? Don't forget that one of the reasons why we're having shortages of food in this country is that people can't go to their farms. People are being taxed by bandits before they have access to their farms. How important is it for us to fix these security challenges first, more than anything else?
Yes, if you talk about insecurity, more particularly what is happening in the north, that's as old as our dear country. There's always discrimination factors in respect of what is obtainable in the north. And some people are tied down to religion, some people are tied down to tribalism. But we cannot per se identify what it is, because I'm not from that region, but we know that what is obtainable in that part of the country has some undertone of what we tag as a political undertone, also religion and tribalism. Whatever it is, what is important is that the government is on oath to defend people's lives and property. The government is on oath. So it's not a matter of whether the government is saying, I want to align my force with this particular tribe or this particular religion. It's a matter that by virtue of the provisions of the Constitution, the primary responsibility of the government is to protect its citizens against unconstitutional death. Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution says that every Nigerian has the right to live, to life. You have the right to life, except that right can be taken away from you by virtue of court order. Otherwise, no any other person has the right to take the right of any other person. That is settled. And then number 2, it is also the primary duty of the Nigerian Police Force to prevent offense by virtue of Section 4 of the Police Act. It is incumbent on the Nigerian Police Force to prevent offense. And by so doing, it is their duty to protect also life and property. So it's not a game of hide and seek. And now let me go further to raise my opinion as to what is expected of government. First of all, government needs to identify that it is their duty to protect life and property all over the federation, not narrow down to a particular region. Whether the north, look at what is happening in the east. We are even narrowing it down to the north. But how about the situation reported in the east? Are they not human? So in wholesome, if we want to talk, let us to discuss collectively. I'm recommending that the government should think about adopting the state police or community police. Are you there with me?
I'm with you.
Because the people in that particular region understand these people that often come to harm them. So it is like when you entrust something to a thief, is he going to steal that property again? Do you agree with me?
Definitely.
When you entrust your property to that person that is always in the business of
because he knows that if anything goes missing, he will be made to account for it.
Yes. So I am recommending that we need to identify, government needs to identify with the community, one, and then try to establish a force around that region that can curtail what is happening. Otherwise, they are going to bring somebody from Lagos, a policeman that is well trained in Lagos, who does not understand the terrain in the north, who cannot speak the language of the people over there. How do you think he's going to manipulate his way security-wise? So we need to, that is one. Then number 2, the government should, by now, by all standards, the government should not, let me use this word regard for all those terrorists. When it's Salah period, a month or a week, you need to intensify the Salah period or Christmas period. The government needs to intensify the security around that environment. Are you there with me?
I'm with you.
Government needs to intensify the security base around that environment. You can see they're always striking in Plateau State. If I get it right, if you look at it from for the last 5 to 6 years, you will see that they will always hit towards the end of
the Christmas
period. Towards the Christmas, they will hit the Christian, and then the other way around, they also hit during
Salah.
So Salah period. So it's not a one-way traffic assignment. It is a duty, and it is a duty of the government collectively with the host community, with the community per se, and the state government. It's not enough for government to continue to release what is it called security funds to the state government, because I'm even seeing a situation where the deciding state governors, they are happy, the sitting governors, they are happy where there is war in their state, because as far as the war continues, they continue to make more money because there is international donation. Are you getting me?
I'm with you.
What happened in the 2 states now, people will donate nationwide. All over the world, there will be donation security-wise. And the federal government will release more funds for the state government. So I'm seeing a situation whereby politicians are even the key drive. Are you getting my point? The politicians are even the drive. They are the key drive to some of these things we see. It has political undertone, like I said. It has religion undertone.
It has economic undertones.
It has economic undertone, and then it has tribalism. So these are the key factors. It is when you identify the problem that is involved that you will now see that you now try to see how you can come in, and then you see, and then apart from that, underneath economic factors, that's where you look at farming, and you agree with me that the north is a major feeder for our dear country. People feed from product from the north mostly in this country. That's what they are good at farming. So once the north is affected, directly directly or indirectly, it will affect the nation's economy. It will affect the feeding rates in the south and then in the west. So that's by all standards. The government knows what they are doing. We do respect to our government, but it's important. Hello?
I'm with you, Barrister Atta.
But it's important that the youth at this age, they have to concentrate. That's my advice for the youth. The youth are distracted. Where somebody will go and the youth are distracted with social media. The social media is supposed to be an engine room where we used to promote what we develop our dear country. This is a time for the youth to stand up and ask questions. We use the social media to fight government. We have done it before, and you see that even the Nigerian police force now, because of the fact that the youth, to an extent, they are using the social media engine now to record them. We are getting results. They are beginning to sack some of the dilapidated or inexperienced Nigerian police force because the evidence are there. So what I'm saying in essence is that the youth should come out and ask questions. What is this? What is that? What is that? How is it supposed to be? This is not how it should be. And then you see how we're going to get results. That's my position as it relates to the security challenges in our dear country. Yes,
Thank you. What a way to start this conversation, because I've always been of the opinion that irrespective of how good you are with infrastructures, fix the hospitals, fix the schools, fix the road, provide low-cost housing for the people. If the people don't feel safe or don't feel secured, then there's nothing. All of those facilities will just be there. Nobody's going to access them. So that was why I decided that's why I wanted us to start from the issue of security. Now let's talk about the Nigerian economy. Last year was tough, and especially since the removal of subsidy on the 29th of May, automatically the price of petroleum products would certainly skyrocket, and it moved from 187 naira to 211. At the end of the day, a lot of people are buying for over 600 naira now. But Mr. President has assured Nigerians that the moment the Dangote refinery starts refining, we also read that they received shipments in billions of barrels that will be pumped into for production. There's also the Port Harcourt refinery that was flagged off December last year on the promise of Mr. President. But beyond that, what do you think should be the primary objective of the president in respect to fixing the economy? On a short term, there's been issues of palliatives being given, incentives. In December, people that needed to travel, got discounted 50%. If you are going by the rail, a lot of them travel for free. A couple of people that I know benefited from it. But we're back to January, and the people would always go back to where they paused last year. In terms of fixing the economy, Barrister Adams Atta, what should be the priority of the president in this case?
Well, if you look at because the purpose of our existence is the Constitution. The Constitution is the crown of every other law in Nigeria. Every other law, they have their options and their foundations from the Constitution. So I speak in consonance with the content of the Constitution. If you look at the provisions of the Constitution, in answering your question now about the primary purpose of government and to relate to our economy, the Constitution says that it shall be the duty of the government to cater for the welfare, the welfare of its citizens. That is we, you and I, Nigerians. So by all standards, the economy of the country is part and parcel of the welfare of Nigerians. You get the point I'm making now?
I'm with you.
So by all standards, that welfareism we are talking about now beckon on the policy that the government have put forward. And that is why I continue to say, I've been saying it and I'm saying it again, and I will continue to say it. This government stands on issues on the what is it called? The subsidy removal is so immediate. I don't know how Buhari was able to manage that situation for some time. I'm not saying they should not remove it. But you don't just come to power the very first day and then you spring surprise on people. You get my point?
I'm with you.
You had to resume office today, and then you just suddenly came, and then you now start sacking people, or you start putting policies on board that will affect your people. That's the same thing Mr. President is. the introduction of the removal of that fuel subsidy at that particular period, that particular time, that very day we mentioned, a lot of things immediately skyrocketed. Even those people that had the petroleum products in their station, those products, they instantly skyrocketed.
They started for the new price.
Whereas they bought it on a lesser amount. And immediately Mr. President made that announcement, the price now went up. Is that how it's done? That's for me is unacceptable. That is one. You ought, Mr. President, with due respect, you ought to have at least, you can just give, in the next 3 months, we are looking at the possibility of trying to remove the subsidy. We are working towards this. You talk to your people. You talk to your subjects. That is how it's done. That is the proper way to govern. Tell them the prospects in the next 3 months, like you have asked. What is, Mr. President, what do I see, or what's the possibility of this government getting it right in the short term? Is that not what you asked? And I'm telling you that for them to get it right, the government needs proper planning. You need to plan. You need to speak to the people. When you speak to your nation, to Nigerians, people will not be surprised if you implement any policy. That is one. Then number two, on the issue that has to do with Dᴏ��� refinery, for over how many months now, the refineries that have been commissioned, up to date, they have not started production. How will you track that? Are they serious? Or is by mere cosmetics? Mere cosmetics in this sense is like how a female, the woman will make up and down, whereas underneath it, there is nothing there. So the point I'm making is that it's not enough for you to go and commission refinery and then it's not working. That is for the Dᴏ��� refinery. Then the Port Harcourt refinery, I thank Mr. President for that. But the same government now came up and said they still need to complete the second phase of it. I'm sure you are aware of that.
Yes.
And it will not start production immediately. What is that? That is that. And then number three, are you also aware that this same government came up last month and told Nigerians that assuming the refineries are working, it's not a ground that the fuel will come down. So what is the essence of having refineries? What's the essence of removing the subsidy when the government have now built a refinery and we cannot feel the impact of that refinery? I do not agree with the government. I think the government is confused to an extent. This government lacks direction on that, on economic policy. I do not agree with them. And then you want to talk about that. What about the dollar that is skyrocketing on a daily basis? It's skyrocketing on a daily basis. The government is not doing anything about it. And with due respect, I don't know how this government tends to rule this country. And then furthermore, you also talk about the incentive, the recent incentive, when Mr. President came on board and said that we are going to give incentive, transportation discounts, we are going to pay 50% as against the 100% people are supposed to pay. Are you also aware that some companies refuse people access
to their vehicles,
to their bus, to their car?
They said they want full payment. They said they want full payment.
Not even that. The government is not even well organized. How can you bring such incentive or palliative out a week to Christmas? How do you expect Nigerians to cope? And then government is saying that they should even go online and register. Should go and register before they can have access to that system. And you know that in this country, this is a bad country in such a way that the government will invent something. The same people in the system will frustrate the system. Some people are there. I have a friend that applied online. The portal was down also. How will you describe that? How will you describe that? Is that seriousness? So the point I'm making is that I'm not saying that the government is the all and all, is the almighty. But the government should plan and carry these citizens along. Communicate. So we intend to do this in the next 3 months. We intend to do this in the next 6 months. We intend to do that, this and that. So that people can plan alongside. The economy is getting tough and tougher on a daily basis. Communicate with people so that people can be properly guided. Look at GSGB per se. Are you there with me?
I'm with you.
Because of the fact that the government has one heavy tax on them. Last year, alone within 9 months,
They've increased like 3 times.
Their tariffs, more than 3 times. Only God knows how it's going to be this year. DSTV, I went to price a DSTV, the dish and the decoder last week, and they are telling me almost about 30 or 40 something thousand. DSTV that we used to buy December period, the price will come down about 15 to 16,000. It's now going to almost 30 or 40 something thousand. And this is a country that is a consumption country. We are not producing anything. Well, are you there with me?
I'm with you.
We are not producing anything. How are we going to? And that is why, that is what some of the, one of the contestants in the last presidential election, that's what we're pushing. It's a consumption country. We want to make the country a country that can produce. Let us make it a production country. Because this country is well blessed. It's just that we have bad leaders. So by all standards, if the government wants to get it right, the government should plan. They should have a projection. They should plan. Not giving us audio messages. We have done this, we have done that, whereas we have not said that. One, let me give you an example of what some of these audio messages. This same government went to DᴏɪR or 𝗬𝗎 or something thereabout and came back and said the ban has been lifted. Up to date, people cannot travel.
Nigeria can get in there. True.
Eh?
I said true.
Up to date, people cannot travel. Number two, this same government came, and then within these 7 months, this same government came and said, oh, we have commissioned 𝗪𝗀 this and that and everything. Until now, more than 7 or 6 months now, the refinery is not working. This same government came and told us that, oh, we once the refinery in Port Harcourt that is set to commence production by December, production, we are going to reduce the fuel price will reduce to an extent. Immediately after the commissioning of that system, Nigerians asked them questions. Are you going to refuse? They now say no. This government denounced their earlier statement. So we cannot continue to operate on a government policy that is not stable, that they don't even trust themselves. If you don't trust yourself, nobody will want to. You can see international communities and companies, they are returning back to their country. So that's my position about that.
Thank you.
Position on the economic policy.
Barrister Adams Atta, well, you've talked about security. You've also talked about the economy. And you talked about the role of communication in this. When policies are supposed to be meant for the people, it shouldn't be discussed by just a few people. It should be thrown out to the public so that people will know what is coming. I think that's a really key element in between the government and the governed. People need to understand some of these things, some of these policies. Let's get on. Now, you made mention of something really important, which is production. You said the country is a very, very consumption. We're a consumption-driven economy. That means we import everything from toothpick to toothbrush to toothpaste to food, everything. We import them into this country. Unfortunately, one of the low moments of 2023 was the fact that a lot of multinational companies were leaving the country, from Procter & Gamble to GSK to a lot of other multinational companies, meaning that a lot of people were losing their jobs. The country is also losing revenues from the taxes that those organizations are paying. But again, what would you think, or what do you think the government should do in this one? Should we bring these people back and offer them tax vacation, or this is an avenue for us to encourage local production? What's your take on that?
Well, you see that a local production cannot operate solo on its own without experience. You cannot operate solo on your own because of the fact that we have the experience, we have the manpower, but this country, we just need to be back up. We have into a position that, this road is being constructed by a foreigner is the best. That's why you have all these Arab contractors and all these others. It's not 𝗪𝗪 that is competing with them to an extent. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Competing with all those Arab contractors to an extent. You see that most of the road construction, you see Arab contractors all around. Where are these Arab people, all those Indians, all those Chinese? They use our people to do the labor. So we have people, we have professionals, we have people who have learned from these foreigners who can take up this system. But we have a black man mentality in us. People will prefer that an Indian will come and manage their food factory on the island as against the black man. Because of the fact that, for instance, they don't even trust their fellow black man. So we lack issue of trust. It's another cankerworm that is eating up our system. And because of the fact that the system is built on corruption. So you will not blame the fellow Nigerians that we lack trust in the fellow Nigerians. We prefer an Indian. And Indians to come and then suddenly come across Nigerians to slavery. So by all standards, I'm not saying that we cannot find independence on our own. But because of the fact that the system is built on corruption and lack of trust for ourselves, about our competency, that is the beginning of where we are getting it wrong. That's just it. So in simplicity is good. If we can bring these foreigners back, we can do some tax relation for them, we can have a concession for them for the benefit of our dear country. Look at how the DSTV is consistently increasing their price tag. Only God knows what's going to happen this year. If they can increase it 3 times in a year, only God knows what will happen in the next 6 months. That is one. And the fact that it's established that this particular company don't have any competitors in Nigeria. It's not like how we have in the telecommunication sector. We have SN, we have Blue, we have SN, we have Etisalat, and other time mobile and other. For this one, there's no better competitor. So the government needs to think about all these things. Are you there with me?
I'm with you.
The government needs to think about this thing and try to see how concession can be deal can be frank between them and some of these companies. Because nobody will want to operate on a society level that the tax system is too demanding, is too high, and then you don't expect those same people to visit the same heavy cost on people. If you look at, let's even bring it down to the grassroots. Sachet water now is now 2 for 50 naira. We go to get to a point where we're going to buy one for 50 naira. This year. Yes, we're getting to that point. How? Because the cost of production is the government. We have to tax them. They have to buy the production and materials and everything. So once I buy something for 50 naira now, don't tell me to go and just suddenly start selling it for 55 naira. I want to look at the cost of transportation. I have to look at other factors, the tax I'm paying to government, and every other factor, the salary I'm paying to my staff, the rent for the office, and other factors. You bring all these things together, and then you now agree on a certain price that the product will go to the market. Everything is rapidly going down. Now look at family bread that used to be less than 500 naira, is above 1,000 above now. How many people can afford it? And then the government is then saying the cost of everything is on the high side, and the government is then saying that most of the state governments all over the federation are saying they cannot even pay the required emphasized amounts approved by government. So where are we? We are not serious in this country. We're not serious. Look at the budget that was recently passed. Before you know, during the festive period, I don't know how they were able to come about it. Because they knew that Nigerians on the subject. Are you getting it? Because Nigerians were concentrated. People who have to go and be shopping for rice and everything. So you know the government quickly found that. And a lot of magu and a lot of dealings and everything passed through. If you study it very well, maybe one of these days I'll have a session with you and then we review that what went down underneath the budget approval and everything. That is just the system. The system is built to make the rich people to continue to make them rich, and then leave the poor people on lower cadet. So that is it.
Well, Barrister Peter Adams Atta, beg your pardon, is a legal practitioner, human resource manager, and of course is a public affairs analyst. He joins us live in the studio of Mela 98.3 FM, and we're looking at setting the expectations and the agenda ahead of the new year on the back of the president's nationwide address yesterday, where he promised that reforms will be made to, make life easy for Nigerians. They also alluded to the fact that he can feel the suffering and they understand where the shoe pinches every one of us. But now, before we flip this conversation, Barrister Atta, Mr. President has constantly talked about making sacrifices. He said that in his swearing-in speech on the 29th of May on the 1st of October, he also talked about the fact that Nigerians would have to make sacrifices, Nigerians would have to endure, that the pains and the suffering would not be will not be with us for so long. But when we talk about making sacrifices, one of the things that have been brought to the table is cutting down the cost of governance. We've seen the luxury lifestyle that some of the political visa holders in this country are living, the retinue of aids, of convoys, the ease of life on them, as against the people that voted them into office. When the president says we should tighten our belt and be ready to make sacrifices, and you see how the politicians live amongst us, what do you make of that conversation? It looks like it's a contradiction of thought and expression. If you tell me to manage what I have, and you're living to my face that you can do and undo, what does that tell you about the leadership structure of this country, especially when it comes to the governed and the government?
It's a mere mockery of the system. They are mocking. It's a mockery. It's not a mockery. How will you describe that? Because if you look at the immediate past president, at least he came out openly, and then there was, I think, to an extent, reduced the salary, if I'm correct. Am I correct? Are you aware that Mr. President, the salary structure, even the other allowances are there?
Yes.
The point I'm making in sense is that is your starting point. If you want to lead, you have, as a leader, you have to lead by example. You have to lead by example. That is the beginning. I think one of the presidents outside, one of the presidents in Africa, there about recently cancelled all trips, some of those foreign trips that you see all the ministers and all those things. You cancel them. You can do it via Zoom. So what you would holding out, you can do a lot of meetings via Zoom, and then you reduce the cost of living. Look at the recent visit of Mr. President and the convoy for a program outside the country. Look at the public outcry. Look at the numbers. 400 and something there about the one. I can't recall the number. But look at it. If you must preach something, you must be ready to obey it to the latter. That is the beginning of where we can get it right. Look at the president now, and I say that, no, I want to reduce my salary, I want to reduce my allowance. Since I'm doing that, I want it to go down from the vice president down to all the members of the National Assembly, the state governors, the allowances, the districts, so that we cannot push the money back to the economy, and then we push the money back to our education system and security. You see that the system will be perfect. It's not enough for them to continue to inflict hardship on fellow Nigerians, because by saying that we should be ready to suffer a little bit. It's just like a father that is in possession of money. It's just like that person now telling his son, I want you to enjoy a little bit, and then the thing to be perfect. Is that not mocking? Do you think that child will agree to that kind of statement? When he's aware that my father is a efficient man than us. The money is there. It's implementation and corruption that is part and parcel of our system. Our leaders are greedy. And these people will continue to be happy as far as the system continues to wallow in abject poverty. They will continue to be happy as far as we continue to fight ourselves. They don't have anything to lose. Election period will come, people will go outside and kill themselves. After the election, people will run back to execute. They run back to the state house. The heaven will not fall. And of course, God is a merciful God. He will not fight. He knows how he does his things. And his way is best. So how long are we just going to continue like this in this country? What we are building in this part of the world is mosques and church. Whereas in the Western world, people are there building industries. Go to ภิràjí today, a lot of that is the warehouse and the custodian.
They've turned to place.
Hello?
I'm with you.
Most of those Indians they have left. They have left. So are we going to continue like this? We need to have a rethink. This is a time for the youth to come out and act, not being distracted, whether possible is a this and that and that. They are distracted with social media. Everybody is now a comedian. Everybody in Nigeria is now a comedian. Instead of them to come out and ask questions, they are good at acting comedy. custodian, his own is doing his custody, his own system is to be asking the character of the transaction. Is that what really we should? When a country has this system, the system is mortgaged in particular camp. You will do it, I do it, I will do it, I. That is unacceptable. Some of us who are strong advocates for good governance, they are not going to keep quiet. They are going to continue to ask them and ask. Because when you ask, one day there will be someone who will invite you, okay, you are the master. This is what we want to do. If you are not in the same position with us, please, what do you think? That is how the system operates. If you keep quiet and be praying, manna does not come from heaven. You must be part and parcel of you and you seek for it. Freedom is not given voluntarily, you have to ask for it. That is my position.
Okay, let's go back to the budget. 28.8 trillion naira budget for 2024. I remember there was a supplementary budget that was approved towards the end of last year that captured the few months of 2023. And one of the issues that people have raised, one of the concerns that Nigerians have raised, have been implementation of those budgets. You have all of these monies, some of them are not approved, some of them are not available, some of them will be raised from loans and all of that. But we don't have a proper mechanism that helps us to evaluate the performance of these budgets. Do you think Nigerians trust this administration on the 28.8 trillion naira budget that was approved going into the year? And what should we do differently that previous administration have been doing in terms of measuring the performance of these budgets? Barrister Adams Atta, what should we do about it? And do you think Nigerians trust this administration enough with the budget figures that we have to work with this year?
Which of the previous administration, even right from as far back as 1999, which of the previous administration do you think we trust them as it relates to the issue of budget? We even had at the point this system of padding budget. Is it the previous government or the government before the immediate government? They will pad the budget. The doctrine of padding. They will pad it in what is not obtainable, what is not in vogue, what does not exist. Such way like to favor them. So you see that in all these budgets, you see that money, this and that rubbish is assigned for this and that. I'm very optimistic to saw the people on all the social media critics that came out of it about Lagos State, where a particular amount was assigned from tissue paper in the office of the deputy governor. Then the same thing in other states. Are you there?
I'm with you.
And then the same thing in some other states. That is what we want. When I say the youth should ask questions, do you think that publication that came out in respect of the deputy governor office of Lagos State, the government came out and said, we did not actually spend that amount. It was also an amount that was assigned to them. But an insider actually gave that information now. And that is why the government cannot sue them. Ordinarily, government should say, you defend my function, my office. For that figure you released, that is fake. Therefore, presupposes you want to discredit my character and all those things. And because the government, by impliedly or impliedly to say, whichever category you look at it from, because the government knows that they are doing things directly. They just came out and then say, no, I was not the total amount was not given to my office, it was this and this and that. So by all standards, the question, my point is well established. Nigerians should ask. They should ask and come out and then request. This amount by virtue of the recent budget, 5 billion, 1 billion, this and that, the amount, 500 million, this and that, is assigned for total budget. What have you done? That is the best way we can get it right. Otherwise, whether trust or not, it is now established that we don't trust our leader. It is an established fact. So it's not the question you ask again. We all know that corruption is there right on time. Now we are looking for the father. Who is now the father that can come out and conspicuously say, I'm the minister of 𝗪𝗪 500 billion or 500 million was assigned to my ministry, and we have used 200 million. This is the remaining 300 million.
Take it back.
To be funded to 𝗃. Where is the person? Can you back on that person for me now? So by all standards, people lack interest. People already lack interest as it comes to the spending of money assigned for budget in this part of the country. Forget about that budget in the matter of figure. They know how they will pick up before they see one out. But in the middle of this, they will go and set another loan, or they go and approach the same National Assembly for another, for them to sign another budget for them. So by all standards, that's how it's going.
Okay, I'm with you, Barrister Atta.
Yes.
Okay. Before I let you go, I must admit that it's been a very, very engaging conversation on the show today, despite the short notice. But before I let you go, I've observed mixed reactions with you. When we started this conversation, you shared some form of optimism in respect to the president's nationwide address yesterday. But we moved on into the conversation. It's obvious that you have some reservations about some policies of the government and all of that. Now, let me take you back to the issue of security. You talked about state policing. You talked about community policing. One of the fears that the people have expressed in respect to state policing is that it will be hijacked by the political strong or stakeholders at the state level. Reason being that, okay, as it is now, the Inspector General of Police, the Commissioner of Police of any state does not take instruction from the government. They wait for the Inspector General of Police. That's why they say there's order coming from above. But in the face of all of these massacres going on, the issues in Jigawa, in Nasarawa, in a part of Kaduna, in Plateau, in Benue, even in Zamfara, the state of the Minister of State for Defense, there are issues left and right. How louder do you think this conversation around community policing or state policing should be as we move into the 2024 year? Because the Chief of Army Staff said that it is wrong for anyone to call Nigerians to start taking off arms, that it will lead to anarchy. But the people are getting killed in the numbers every day. How loud do you think this conversation around state policing should be, or what should we do exactly to achieve this level of security that we deserve in this country?
Okay, that is fine. We are aware of this community policing indirectly. Let me put it that way in Lagos State. We are aware of not Amoteco. We are aware of Amoteco.
Yes.
Obtained in the West there. Is that not like a security outfit?
Sure.
Are they not using uniform? Huh?
I'm with you. They are.
That is one. Then number two. You're equally aware of the Lagos State neighborhood
watch, yes.
Neighborhood watch. Are they not using uniform? Are they not working in line with the police? Are they not working with police? So by all standards, what I'm saying by community policing is that the government should establish a security vigilante outfit that will work with the police and then report back to the state government, the particular state government, like how it is obtainable in Lagos State. Lagos Neighborhood Watch, Amoteco that reports to most of the state governments in the West. So that's the point. It may not be valid as police, but community policing means somebody to be monitoring in that sense, not that you're going to wear police uniform and be a community police for that purpose. But it could be an established, because I called me last time after the incident in the state, and then say that even most of the people I see, they are not properly organized or something. So by the time the government come on board now, partners with them, they sit around that environment. Like I said earlier, when you entrust something into somebody's hand who is a thief, you're not going to steal that property again, because if you're not going to steal from yourself, how possible is that? I gave you my money, and then I come back, and then ask for that money. So can you now decide that, are you now going to tell me that, because I know that you are the thief. So the point I'm making is that when you were involved, when you engage with people who are around the environment, they know how to tackle the people. Some of them are even part of them. So by the time you come, you have a conversation with them, you discuss with them. You have to carry them along. People must get it right. It's not because we have been trying it in the hard way. Remember, we need to be very optimistic. We are failed. So we need to get to the roots and bring them on board. Bring them on board. The traditional rulers, the heads of those environments and all those things. We need to bring them on. That's my position. So I agree with you that state the police, for an extent, it will be like a personal or tribal exercise. Because you see that people will need to be recruiting their own people into that now a state affair. Are you there?
I'm with you.
Because now a state affair, they will need to recruit their own people, and then the people recruited will go ahead to harm other people. But if you look at the system of the Nigerian police force, it is a federal character system. Attempt to accommodate somebody from any part of the country as far as they are in Nigeria, because against our laws to enforce the security, our security officials into the hand of a foreigner. So, by all standards, once you are in Nigeria and you are living to be engaged as a Nigerian police officer, you will be given the opportunity. That opportunity is there. But narrow it down as a state police. Once it's now established, it becomes a state asset. I agree with you, but I still stand on a firm position that we need community policing, in the sense that they may not be branded as state police. They can come in such a way that, like how we have in Lagos State, Lagos State government, the state government will empower them, they will elect the police, and then they report back to the state government of this particular state, because they are dignity of those particular areas to know how to manage more. Just like if you want to go to a show, if a governor wants to solve the situation in the state, he knows who to call.
You know who to call.
He knows who to call. He knows who to call. Once you go to Opeyemi, you are going to Ghana, they don't use phone. Then you call them and talk to them, talk to them about. That is the point you are making. Are you carrying those stubborn and those criminal elements around that environment? Are you carrying them as that? Do you discuss with them? Do you take move to arrest them? Do you have a skill with the concession with them? That's my position.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Barrister Adams Atta, for joining me in the Situation Room today. Barrister Adams Atta is a legal practitioner, is a public affairs analyst, and also human resource manager. Thank you for spending time with us today. And of course, I want to believe that you would get to feature very often on the show as we welcome you on board. Thank you very much for your contribution today.
Thank you for having me today. It's a lovely session.
Thank you very much. Well, that was a very engaging conversation, by the way, with Barrister Adams Atta. He's a legal practitioner, as you heard, and we looked at a lot of things, especially how we can balance the conversation on the back of the president's speech yesterday and the 28.8 trillion naira budget that was approved for 2024 for Nigerians, a population of almost 230 million people. Okay, I would need to pay some bills. We'll come back, we'll open the conversation. The phone lines are buzzing already, and you're going to reach us on 0913-600-0410. You can also check our social media platforms. We're streaming this program and all our programs live on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube as well. You drop your comments, drop your contributions. You can also follow us so that we'll continue to grow the social media community. I'll take a quick break, pay some bills, then we'll come back. We'll open the phone lines, we'll take your contribution as we gradually settle into the new year. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the Situation Room, and I'll be right back.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's now why anytime I cook like this, I dey always season them with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatasheo, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Now him make my pikin them, they always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never will. I want more.
You see?
Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season them with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Broadcast Art Institute Supplementary Admissions 2023-2024. Few vacancies exist in the Department of Broadcast Journalism and Multimedia Technology for admission in the 2023-2024 session. If you scored 100 and above in the 2023-2024 UTME, together with 5 relevant credits, but have not gained admission, you can change over to the Broadcast Art Institute Lagos for National Diploma in Broadcast Journalism and Multimedia Technology. The Broadcast Art Institute is accredited by the National Board for Technical Education (NBTE) to offer national diploma programs in broadcast journalism and multimedia technology. You can visit our campus at number 38 Odofin Street, Igbobo, Ikorodu, Lagos, or call the following numbers: 0806 149 9992 or 0703 713 1166 or 0816 587 1415.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey, and when you add plenty of vegetables like 𝗏, ugu, and season with the rich taste of Knorr seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
Are you seeking admission into a tertiary institution in Nigeria? Here is a big opportunity for you. The 2022-2023 admission into 𝗃 Polytechnic is now open. Available courses are Computer Science, Theatre and Media Art, Mass Communication, Science Laboratory Technology, Electronics Engineering, Accounting, Banking Operations, Business Administration, Multimedia Technology. Qualified students should have scored 100 and above in the last JAMB exam. Facilities at 𝗃 Polytechnic includes well-equipped studio and laboratories, modern classrooms, innovative workshop, recreation space, and fully functional hostels. Our lecturers and tutors combine both academic and industry experience. Full-time and part-time admission forms are available for the 2022-2023 academic session at the campus 𝗃 Polytechnic, Plot 100, Alhaji Onilewura Street, Ikotun Egbe, Lagos State. 𝗃 Polytechnic is approved by JAMB, NBTE, and the Federal Ministry of Education. For more information, please call Moses 091 62 54 0610, Wale 091 62 92 7079, Praise 091 62 69 9996, Adelanwa 081 26 58 0784, or visit our website www.ecocity.edu.ng. 𝗃 Polytechnic, building industry-ready professionals.
As you see me so, I belong to the Chop Better gang. Now, why anytime I want chop like this, I be put better things inside. For my yam porridge, after I don't put my fish, I go con deck am with onions, tatashe and ugu, con season am with correct Knorr cubes for that delicious taste. Because my people, good life na life where you chop better.
Sama all your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with Knorr cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
So, babes, don't you think the radio is so boring these days?
Well, it depends on what you need. I just discovered a new sound.
It's my mother. Making you fall like that. I don't wanna go back to where they I got you.
Yes, I am totally hooked to 98.3 Mainland FM. That sound slaps and it makes so much sense. I vibe, I learn, and I definitely enjoy the groove.
The sound of Lagos.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you very much for being with us from 4 p.m. until the time that we are now. It's 11 minutes past the hour of 5, and then we're gradually moving to the end of the program. Well, before we went on that break to pay the bills, I had Barrister Adams Atta join me via phone. He's a legal practitioner, human resource manager, and also a public affairs analyst. And then we looked at setting the conversation on and setting the agenda out there as we march into 2024. And then we looked at the issue of security, we looked at the economy, we looked at production, and what the government needs to do. He made mention of the fact that the state police remains a conversation that we must not stop having. He admitted the fact that yes, there could be fears that the structure could be hijacked in terms of the recruitment. It could also be used by governors to witch hunt their political, or their perceived political opponents. But again, the security of lives and properties of the people is the priority of every government, and there's never too much when it comes to securing what the people should. Securing the lives of the people. Basically, those are the things that my guest Barrister Adams Atta helped us to establish today, and we just have to keep keep your dial locked here. She's going to be with us a few more times as we go into the year. Because we'd always want to make sure that we bring the very best of minds to engage the people and help us to unbundle some of the very complicated policies that the government would have. Well, 2024 is here, and then we'll move away from whatever it is that must have happened last year at the election conversation, this and that. Let's be positive going into the new year. And I know that a lot of people have not resumed, a lot of businesses have not opened yet. Some people will probably just be finding their ways back to Lagos from their villages where they've gone to spend the Christmas and the New Year with their families. Please be safe, stay safe, be security conscious, be very vigilant. And so when you come back, we'll have our Lagos back. In as much as I always like the fact that the roads are free at this time, you can drive through to the office, back to your house in real time. But it also means the hustle and bustle of Lagos, and that's what stands us out. That's what makes us different. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the Situation Room. I've been your host, Opeyemi Akinyode. We get to do this every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. We talk about politics, policies, governance, and leadership. And as we constantly demand for dividends of democracy from the people that we voted into office. 0913-600-0410. Talk to us. You want to comment on what my guest had said? He actually said a lot before we went on that break. Well, thank you very much once again. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, in case you're trying to call us, you can't reach us. I have loads of messages already on our Facebook platform. You can also go there, facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM, or you go on Twitter at mainland FM on Twitter, or you go on YouTube, mainland 983 FM, to watch us live and drop your comment. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. How are you?
Barrister Peter Oko, you're welcome to the show today.
Yeah, God bless you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah. Yes, I listened to your guest. I think it's quite the issues you discuss with him. I find them quite incisive, and it's a good way to begin the new year. You know, yeah, because you find out that the problems that we are grappling with, you know, is becoming overwhelming. And the most unfortunate of it all is that the government don't seem to have the lever, you know, to profile the appropriate solution, because you cannot have stomach trouble and you start drinking Panadol. You know, you have to take the right curative measures. You know, yes, that can alleviate whatever problem you have. You see, the saddest thing of it all is that when I listened to Asiwaju's speech yesterday, I must be frank with you. I felt a little bit disappointed because I expected something quite different from a typical military man. Because Asiwaju is like the first democratic president we've had in a long time, you know. And compared to somebody like Buhari, you can't expect much because Buhari was not actually in charge. He was not in charge. He just allowed anybody to do what they like, and they ran the government aground. You know. So I didn't hear much about fighting corruption because that is the most endemic the problem we have. I tell you, my friend Opeyemi, remove corruption. Even if you decide to fight only corruption, leave off other things, everything will fall in place. Corruption. Fight it to the limit. All the money that were stolen under the Buhari government, fight them. The ministers who stole the money recover some, you know. And it is very unfortunate that you even find out that most of those ministers that stole money under Buhari, Asiwaju appointed them into his ministry. You know, I mean, it is very clear and obvious. We cannot continue to pretend. Somebody like Festus Keyamo, who is now the Federal Minister of Information, we know that he was the Minister of State for what they call for labor, and he was assigned to create a job in each of the 74 local governments in the country. He did not create anything, and he made away with so millions.
Thank you.
You know?
Thank you, Barrister Peter Oko. Thank you. Let's talk to other people as well. 0913-600-0410. I also requested that you follow us on our social media platforms, and then you can also watch us as we stream all of our programs live, and you can drop your comment also. So we've got loads of comments here on Facebook, but let me pick this one more call, then we'll go over to the social media. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello? Okay. It seems we can't establish connection now. Let's try and talk to someone else. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Good to have you join us on the show.
Okay, my name is Shola. I'm calling from Alimosho.
Okay, Mr. Shola, Happy New Year.
Same to you. Same to you. I can only wish that this year is going to be much better for Koreans, every one of us. Straight to the point. My concern has always been, it's very clear that there are some vested interests, concerning our security situation. It's like a kappa. I don't want to be as if I'm biased and ethnic level, but we know that to eat them on the head, we've been hearing about this or maybe some people want to take over this land. I'm talking about this now. So this thing comes across Nigeria. What does it take? Very simple, restructuring. What is going on now in this country would not have happened during Obasanjo's time. Obasanjo took his stand. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Obasanjo took his stand. Even today, said that people said, his own was even too much. But that was the issue. You understand? So it's like there are some particular people that are untouchable. So the problem of this country has to do with one, we have religious sentiment, then we have the ethnic bias. You understand? All these things, we need to do away with them. And the last caller mentioned about something. I think corruption. This president doesn't have a political will. It's just as if they have joined the bandwagon. You understand? There's selective justice. Look at NNPC. They wrote in NNPC. No head has rolled in that particular sector. So, literally, I want to round up by saying that we need restructuring in this and other forms of modifications which will be done so that the country can have a positive development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show. On Facebook, Jonathan Toby Great says President Tinubu should please focus on these three things so that his administration will be great: security, stable electricity, and also making sure that at least 2 refineries are working perfectly well in this country. Believe me, the rest will be history. Okay. Dayo Dada on Facebook says, Happy New Year, thank you. He said, you cannot build your house on lies, deception, propaganda, and eye service, and you expect the house to prosper. It is the reality. Like Obi said, if the foundation that brought into power is not credible, you can never be credible. From the day the president came into office, he's been from one problem to the other. Okay. You said a lot. You said, blessed are those that do not expect anything from this government, for they shall not be disappointed. It is a shame that the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. Thank you, Adayo Dadan. Undu Austin, I got your message. We'll certainly work on that as well. Olufemi Benjamin Ibekwe on Facebook says, Happy New Year, Opeyemi. Thank you very much, and Happy New Year also to you. Mela 98.3 FM on Facebook. Drop your comment, follow us to get our regular updates as we keep it going. Well, 𝗪𝗀𝗻𝗃 Michael on Facebook is still talking, and he says, it's unfortunate that a country that has one of the best military soldiers in the world that was selected to be part of the troop who went to foreign countries on peacekeeping could not tackle insurgency in their own country, despite the huge amount of money that is always budgeted on a yearly basis. The most annoying part is that the APC party that criticized and condemned the PDP's previous administration could not do better in providing security to the citizens. In the 2024 budget, which the president had just signed into law, despite the public opinion that the budget is filled with reckless spending, it simply shows that this administration is not keen about bringing any renewed hope to the citizens. God bless Nigeria. Temitope Onotoye on Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us on the show today. 0913-600-0410. You can also go on YouTube. That is Mainland 93 FM on YouTube to follow us and also join us and enjoy our program. Festus Ayola says, the president spoke well in his nationwide speech. I hope he will be able to implement some of those things. His ministers need to come on board so that they won't be working at distance purposes. Thank you very much there, Festus. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Nigeria.
Good to have you join us on the show today. Your name, where are you calling from?
Yes, Ayo from Ota.
Ayo from Ota. Happy New Year to you.
Same to you and to the Milan FM. I think Barrister Atta has done very well in his spoken. But he mentioned one thing which I think it has been one of the problem people are saying, that states could be hijacked. I mean, elements in the state could hijack the security forces. But we have the Amotekun as an example, which is the regional, and it may be difficult for anybody to hijack if we have different political parties in different states. So that could serve as a vehicle to move on now. While we have the local government that can give us the information, that one can pass in the information. We have an example of neighborhood in because it's like the people at the helms of affairs does not want to do. So secondly, please, the issue of electricity. The solar energy is doing wonderfully around my area. And I'm telling you, the only problem we have is that it is expensive. And since we have those materials that can be used to produce battery, which is a major component, why can't government invest in that is a palliative now. And lastly, about the agriculture. Please, the NISA Microfinance Bank, I am an agriculturist. I have tried and tried and tried. I can tell you that they are not functional. And if they invest the energy in which they have in different local governments, I mean, being monitored by the CDAs, we can have results instead of them giving it to the people that will hijack it. Ankoboro is an example. Please, Opeyemi, let's hammer on each area which we have seen the errors, and they should correct it in that way. Have a nice day, Nigeria.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day to you too. Thank you for joining us on the show. I think I can still squeeze in one more call before we call it a day on the show. Hello, good evening.
It's me. I'm the last man today.
It's good to have you on the show
last
today.
man, please, number 5. You see, Opeyemi, can you hear me?
I'm with you, Prince Wise.
The budget has been signed now. The minister is supposed to be at work right now. The minister for work, I want you to be 70% at the side and the remaining 30% in the office. You should monitor all those contractors. Especially that one contractor handle 𝗪𝗪 road in my state. They abandoned that road. Maybe did not pay the contractor or anything. I don't know. But the minister to monitor that road, 𝗪𝗪 road in Osun State. And the other road as well. Other ministers to be at work. Minister for Power is to monitor all those contractors. And the way Mr. President talk about our refinery coming up 2024, yes. If it has 70%, 80%, we want our refinery to work. All those promises by the 𝗪𝗪𝗔 this time around, I want Minister for State for Petroleum to monitor those projects. Anything they promise that it will come to fruitful this year must be taken care of. We are feeling the pain, but we that are praying for the government, we that love Nigeria, we talk to Nigeria, we want Nigeria to stop. That is why I want to contribute my own quota by not telling them what to do at the right time. Opeyemi, let me stop here. Better year ahead for all of us. Good evening to you.
Thank you very much, Prince YS. Certainly that will be the last call I will pick on the show today. It's been an engaging time, no doubt about that. And I want to especially appreciate my guest today, Barrister Adams Atta, for joining us. He's a legal practitioner, a public affairs analyst, and human resource manager. Thank you. And of course, we hope to have you subsequently days there where we have conversations around our policies of the government. Thank you very much once again. And to everyone that has joined the conversation today, the calls, the messages, don't forget to get the conversation going. Follow us on our social media platforms, facebook.com/mainland983fm, on YouTube mainland983fm, on Twitter mainland, of course, former Twitter X now, mainland FM. Join us, click on the notification button so that you can get our updates on every of our programs. My name is Opeyemi Akinyode. By 5:30 the full bulletin would come up, and by 6 o'clock There will be sport crews. While Adigo and the sport gang will come around to give you everything you need to know. The Super Eagles camp opens in Dubai ahead of the African Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast that will start in a fortnight. The Super Eagles of Nigeria are ready to go, and they have a group with Equatorial Guinea and, of course, the host nation, Ivory Coast. Join us by 6 o'clock for all of that and more. And keep your dial locked on Mainland 98.3 FM, because we, at the sound of Lagos, have a very good evening.